Iran's real decision point is no longer about victory. It's about preservation. Wars like this rarely end with clean wins. They end with one side retaining enough capacity to shape what comes next. Early escalation, closing Hormuz, expanding the theater, signaling defiance, creates leverage, but outcomes tend to favor endurance, coalition management, and the ability to avoid irreversible damage. That is why an imperfect deal is not weakness, it is strategy. There's a growing tendency to read Iran's actions as a masterstroke, raising global costs and forcing engagement. But that logic has limits. Hormuz is leverage, yes, but also a trigger. The more it is weaponized, the more it invites a wider coalition response, including actors who would otherwise stay out. What begins as pressure can quickly justify systematic targeting of Iran's maritime and military infrastructure. That shift from signaling to sustained degradation is where the balance tilts sharply against Tehran. The broader lesson is straightforward. Escalation without a clear endgame risks trading symbolic gains for material losses. The longer the war runs, the more it becomes a test of attrition, where the United States and Israel hold advantages in reach, precision, and replenishment. Prolongation steadily erodes Iran's options. Inventories deplete, economic strain compounds, and external partners begin to hedge. What looks like defiance can gradually turn into isolation. This is where an imperfect deal becomes essential. Diplomacy in such conflicts is never final. Agreements are staging points, not destinations. The objective is to secure a pause that preserves sovereignty, stabilizes the internal environment, and prevents further degradation. Iran does not need to resolve every issue at once. It needs to stop the slide, regain economic oxygen, and retain enough leverage to shape what comes next. The deal, therefore, should be framed around a clean political trade that both sides can sell. Iran gives up the part of its program that Washington sees as the pathway to a bomb, and in return secures regime survival, economic normalization, and a defined period of non-aggression. That's a simpler and more credible exchange than trying to preserve partial capabilities while demanding full relief. In practical terms, Iran would accept a 10-year ban on domestic uranium enrichment, along with the export of its highly enriched uranium to a third country under strict international monitoring. It would restore full transparency and inspections, ensuring that its nuclear program remains verifiably non-military during this period. In return, Iran would receive full access to its more than $100 billion in frozen overseas assets held across multiple jurisdictions, including China, Iraq, India, Japan, Qatar, the United States, and Luxembourg, along with phased but comprehensive sanctions relief and a binding 10-year non-aggression pact to reduce the risk of renewed conflict. This is critical. Without credible security guarantees and tangible economic relief up front, no deal is politically sustainable in Tehran. Iran would also commit to keeping the Strait of Hormuz open and non-weaponized, restoring global confidence and removing one of the main triggers for escalation. On missiles, Iran should offer restraint, not rollback. Limits on testing, transfers, and posture without accepting a framework it would portray at home as disarmament. A workable compromise is for Tehran to propose a self-imposed 1,000-kilometer range cap while keeping its program explicitly defensive and regionally bounded. That would still be less than what Washington and Israel have pushed for, since the MTCR benchmark centers on 300-kilometer range, 500 kg payload as the key threshold. Iran could pair that offer with a halt to long-range missile testing and proxy transfers, turning the issue into regulated restraint rather than symbolic surrender. The logic is simple. Trade a reversible capability for time, stability, and survival. Lock in a pause, rebuild internally, and re-enter future negotiations from a stronger position. In conflicts like this, survival with leverage is a form of victory. The alternative is to keep pushing until the terms are no longer yours to shape.